Let's start this tutorial by opening Handling Pro, which is a sub-program of Roboguide. And this tutorial is here in Roboguide's help system. It's this Roboguide basic tutorial. I've decided just to make video versions of this. And we're going to create a Workcell. Now, a Workcell means you've got a robot or more than one robot and other automated equipment that's working together to accomplish some type of task or series of tasks. So in Roboguide, we're going to create a new cell. Click this button right here. We're going to name this your name, Workcell 1, and then hit next. We're going to create a new robot. On this page, you can choose what's called end of arm tooling. That's what that stands for. There are many different tools you can put on the end of your robot. Anything from vacuum suction cups to pick up lightweight objects to different types of grippers. You can put welders on the end of a robot arm, glue guns. I've even seen a robot that has a nail gun attached to it that makes pallets. We're going to go with this default end of arm tooling. You can't really tell what it is from here, but it'll make more sense later. So go ahead and click next. This is a list of robots that you can choose. We're going to go with the one that's highlighted by default. It's a larger robot than what we have in the classroom. Hit next. And then at this point, we're not going to worry about any additional options. So we're just going to hit next and next again. And you can see there's many different options that this software can help you set up depending on what your needs are in your manufacturing facility. But we're just going to click right through that, next, and then hit finish. And it's starting up a teach pendant. You will see the real teach pendant attached to the FANUC robot here in the classroom. This is a simulated version of the teach pendant. The buttons work just like they do on the real thing. And one thing you'll find here as it loads up and gets ready to create a new work cell is it will ask you what kind of flange type you want, and it will stop and wait for you. The flange is this object that goes on the end of the robot. You can see it right there, but you attach your different types of tools to this flange. So in this class, we're always just going to hit standard flange. You got to type 1 on your keyboard and press enter, and then the setup will finish. This is similar to what happens when you start the when you go to the real robot and turn on the controller. It boots up and prepares the teach pendant. Alright, and here's our new work cell. This is the larger FANUC robot that we chose, and we're ready to start setting this up. This green window gives you some reminders on how you can navigate. For example, to rotate your view, it says right drag. So if you click your right mouse button and drag, you can rotate around. Pan means move from side to side. So if you hold down the control key on your keyboard and right drag, you can move like this. Or it says middle drag, press your middle mouse button, either way. Zoom in and out, rotate the wheel. Or you can press both the right and left mouse button and drag, but rotating the mouse wheel is easy. And select an object, you can left click. Now objects, this is if you want to move an object, rotate an object. When it mentions the triad is this Cartesian coordinate system, X, Y, and Z. You can either rotate something when you see the rotate symbol. And by the way, if you experiment with this right now, each time you click your mouse or move something, hit undo so that the robot comes back to this position. It says if you double left click, you can bring up the properties of something. We'll do that a lot in this software. And then this last section here is very handy because later when we have other things in this work cell, we can move the robot to those items, whether it's a table or an object that we're going to pick up. These commands are right here. This is how you move the robot with a tool on it right to an object of your choice. Now this you can easily hide, and if you ever want it back on again, just click the mouse button. You also have some zoom buttons here that you can use instead of these mouse commands. You can also use these buttons for left side top, right side views. And this button, if you've moved something off center, this button will center it. Let's start adding more to this work cell. Go to your file menu, choose Explore Folder, Sample Work Cells folder. Open the Data folder and select this file called Palettes and drag and drop this. You're asked, is this going to be a fixture? That means something that's going to sit in the work cell and stay there. And yes, it is. So we'll hit OK. And there's our palette. In this Roboguide program, you can model anything that's going to be in your manufacturing plant. You just need to know how to model it in 3D modeling software, and then you can import it into Roboguide. It did put the palette on the floor, but let's assign it to be in an exact location. You can see the properties for the palette are here. If they're not, you can double click the palette and they'll show up. Let's set the location of this in the X direction. Let's set it to 1800 millimeters. Y 0. Z, let's leave it 135. The top of the palette is 135 millimeters from the floor, so that's right where we want it. I click Lock All Location Values, and our palette should be right in front of the robot if you've entered these numbers. And then I'll hit Apply. And then the triad turns red, which means we can't accidentally grab that triad and move that palette somewhere else unless we turn this check box back off. Click OK and choose File, Save Cell. You can leave this project open, but just to show you, this is in case you want to rotate something. So if I type 45 degrees and hit Apply in the W box, notice my X axis is right here. It's kind of hard to see that little white X, but it's going to rotate it 45 degrees along that X axis when I hit Apply. We're going to leave, I'll hit Apply again, set it back to 0. So P will rotate along the Y axis and R will rotate around the Z axis. We'll continue adding more to it in the next video.